All right, so question number 2 that I get every single week is, how do I prepare my home for sale? Do I need it to be in model home perfection, or can I just sell it as is? And here's the truth. You can sell a home in any condition. There's a buyer for everything at the right price. But if your goal is to squeeze every ounce of value out of what you've built, preparation matters, and it matters a lot. Because in this market, getting it beautiful matters more than getting it fast. Speed gets you listed, presentation gets you paid. Now, how do you prepare? This is where the real work happens, and I'm going to break it down into a few key areas. Number 1 is to choose your realtor partner early. You want to get them involved early, not the week before you list, but ASAP before you start preparing your home for sale. 2 or 3 months out, or even 6 months or a year ahead of time. Why is that? Well, it's because a good agent isn't just going to put a sign in the yard. In fact, if an agent meets you for the first time at your house and says, I want to go slam a sign in the yard, watch out. There's something wrong there. When the agent comes by, they're going to walk the home with you. They're going to bring in a good agent, will bring in a certified professional design consultant, and even a home inspector to help you prioritize what to improve and what not to improve to get you the most amount of money. We'll talk a little bit more about that in just a bit. The earlier that you bring in a great agent, the more runway you have to make smart decisions instead of rushed ones. Don't hire someone that just shows up with a lockbox. Hire someone who shows up with a strategy. So next up is staging, or at least a design consultation. And before you roll your eyes, though, hear me out. Staging to sell your home for the highest price is not about making your home necessarily look like it belongs in a magazine. And staging doesn't always mean bringing in furniture or getting rid of everything that you have. Sometimes it's as simple as removing some furniture, painting a room, and letting the space breathe. The best staging uses what you have to present your home in a way that buyers can see themselves living there. You see, 95% of buyers, they don't have vision. And the other 5% are called investors, who are going to lowball you on the price, which we'll talk about in a moment, has its place, but may not be what you're looking for. This might mean staging, might mean rearranging or removing furniture. It probably means decluttering. It means making sure your home photographs well, because 90% plus of buyers are seeing your home on a screen before they ever step foot inside. First impression is the listing photos. If it doesn't pop online, they're not coming to see it. Gone are the days where buyers tour a dozen homes before making a decision, because buying is a process of elimination, and buyers are eliminating your home before they even come inside. Most buyers are making a decision on one of just a few homes that they actually physically walk inside, and we're seeing more offers on sight unseen homes than ever before. Also, you want to make sure that you're not staging just for photos, because buyers will be mad if you show them one thing online and they see something else when they get there. This is about presenting the home in its best possible condition and having professional photos and video to shine the best light on it. You don't always need to bring in furniture, but a great stager or designer will show you how to present the home in a way that attracts the maximum amount of buyers. Now, here's one other step that most sellers skip, and they pay for it later. Consider, if you're selling your home, getting a pre-listing inspection. Have an inspector come through before you list so you know what's there. This means no surprises and no buyer using a leaky faucet or an old water heater as leverage to renegotiate thousands of dollars on a sale that's hundreds of thousands of dollars total. When you know what's in your home, you get to decide how to handle it on your own terms, not under the pressure of a contract that's about to close. Also, it can save you money. You might be shocked at the wide range of pricing that I've seen that contractors will give for certain repairs, like a new roof or moisture in the crawl space, that are no big deal to one contractor, but are tens of thousands of dollars to another contractor. Taking care of these items beforehand, especially these, before you go on the market, it can really save you literally thousands of dollars versus having a contractor chosen by the buyer to do them just before closing. So once you get your pre-listing, staging, and inspection reports, every improvement you're considering falls into one of three buckets. Now, this is another thing that lots of agents and definitely a lot of sellers really don't understand. I get this question all the time. And so here are the buckets, and there's a fourth bucket too. But bucket number one is your must-dos. These are the health, safety, and structural concerns. If the roof is failing, the HVAC is dead, or there's an active water leak, you got to handle it. Buyers and lenders, they both require it, and they're not optional unless you're selling for an as-is discount. Now, bucket number two is the should-dos, the things you should do. These are the high return on investment cosmetic updates that actually move the needle. Fresh, neutral paint, updated light fixtures, refinished hardwood floors, curb appeal. These items, they don't cost a fortune, but they dramatically affect how buyers feel when they walk in, and how what they feel is what they remember. And it determines how much they're willing to pay. Now, bucket number three is what I call the hold it in your back pocket repairs. These are the smaller repairs that you may be able to negotiate for the buyer to accept in their current condition if you have competing offers. But if you do end up having to do them just prior to closing, they're not going to be difficult, and you know how much it will cost you. So then there's the final bucket, and that's just the don't do it bucket. Almost never should you do something that you don't get a dollar for dollar return at sale. You're better off pricing the home correctly and letting the buyer make it on their own. In other words, we don't want to spend $20,000 to get $10,000 back. Knowing which bucket that an item falls into is literally how you protect your money.